Ominous warning. We are far from done, from Governor DeSantis, State of the State. If you loved or if you hated the last 4 years of Governor Ron DeSantis, get ready for more of the same. In his inaugural address, just after taking the oath of office for his second term as Florida's chief executive, he delivered soaring rhetoric and refined lines from his reelection campaign speeches to tout his record and promise the same approach amped up in his new term. DeSantis declared, quote, "We're far from done," end quote. DeSantis didn't offer a list of specifics. Governors usually provide details in their State of State addresses at the beginning of their annual legislative session, but he offered some clues about what was coming, most of which he signaled as he ran for re-election. One thing DeSantis didn't do in the 16-minute-plus speech is to give an indication of just how long he expects that term to be. A full 4 years or something less if he runs and is successful at a widely expected candidacy for president in 2024. DeSantis has been unique among Florida governors in being able to win passage of a significantly conservative agenda. He said, quote, 4 years ago, we promised to pursue a bold agenda. We did just that, and we have produced results. Since 2019, Florida has taxed lightly, spent conservatively, reformed education, ended judicial activism, promoted water quality and Everglades restoration, and stood for law and order, end quote. Well, I think the right term, I watched his speech. Ominous is the right word. He is a dark cloud on everything LGBT in the state of Florida. And I would argue a very dark cloud for really much of the country, because just like Trump's rise to power in 2015, in 2010, when he was at the height of The Apprentice, who could have ever connected the joke that the guy of a show that many of us liked. I liked The Apprentice. I thought it was funny and silly. Who could have predicted in 2010 what would begin to happen in 15 and then did happen in 16? That's exactly where we are at this moment with Ron DeSantis. To even possibly suggest this guy is not going to be damaging for Florida and damaging for America, we would be making a sorely great mistake if we made that assumption. And at the end of the day, again, I think ominous is the right word.
Well, two points that you were talking about. One, who could have predicted it? Actually, The Simpsons did. They have a bite where Lisa's president and she's like cleaning up the mess from President Trump. So that's who could have predicted it.
Okay.
But on a serious note, you watched the speech. It did not look like the inauguration of a governor. It looked like an inauguration of a president, and that's exactly the look that he wants to have for campaign materials and primary materials. I mean, they set up bleachers for this event, which they don't normally do for a governor's event. There were more people behind him and around him beyond just his family and Tallahassee leadership. This was staged to look like a presidential inauguration, so he can go, look, I look the role and I talk your language, of course, talking to the conservatives.
To all the conservatives.
Basically. Absolutely. And you know, you said, Alice, it's dangerous for our state, it's dangerous for the country, it's dangerous for the world if he's really able to take a national stage in a greater way than he already has. I mean, there's a reason that he has the highest campaign war chest of any gubernatorial election.
And just sidebar, in 2021, he raised $200 million.
And that's because these people were not donating to a governor's reelection campaign, they were donating to a presidential campaign. And that's something that we have to recognize, is that it is no secret, despite the fact that he hasn't officially filed, it's no secret that there is some intention to have a grander national stage, and likely because he is pursuing a presidency. That's extremely dangerous when we're talking about a governor who is toyed with the ideas of having even further restrictions on reproductive care and abortion, when we've seen him, toy with the idea of having even looser gun legislation in a state that has the highest school the most deadly school shooting in the entire country, and had the second deadliest mass shooting in the entire country. That stuff is extremely dangerous.
Oh, so a couple of things. First of all, I hate you for making me watch this. We're going to start there, okay? Because it's just, it was nauseating to watch, all right? And this is what I got from the 16-minute speech of Governor Ron DeSantis. We're going to impose what we want to impose on you. Gays, go back into the closet I want you to be. We don't want you to breathe or exist. We will not protect you. We will protect big organizations. We will protect your employer, but not you. If you own a house, we're also not going to help you there. Peace out. That's what we got. He said Florida's number one in tourism, number one in this crap, number one in that crap, number one in hate is what we are.
Mm-hmm. And the scary part is he's the king of a spin master. What he did with Val Demings, creating that ominous cloud around her as the loud, brash black woman that was running against him, or running for office in Florida. He is the scariest part, is that he is a master at spinning things and saying we're taking care of your children. When taking care of your children means don't say gay. It means don't be who you are. That's what's so scary, is that he's so good at that rhetoric.
And to Max's point, you said he raised $200 million last year, and probably more than that in the 3 years of his first 3 years of his term. But he didn't spend all that money. He didn't spend $200 million to beat Charlie Crist by 20 points.
Right.
He is giving that money away. He is sponsoring candidates in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Republican candidates in Nashua, New Hampshire, Republican candidates in other big early primaries, because he's going to want those committee chairmen. And a lot of them are already getting on board for his run, which is shoring up his support, while Donald Trump still kind of just hangs out there in the ether while we kind of wait to see what happens with him.
I think it's important to recognize, as we're talking about the consequences of this ominous speech and what we are going to face over the next 2 years. One thing that we haven't said yet is he's mammothly successful at it. And we have to start there. This guy knows what he's doing. This bumbling kind of, I'm every person, I'm a panhandler, I'm in the reddest of the panhandle of rural Florida. This is a Harvard and Princeton educated attorney that knows exactly what he's doing. We know the color of his coat, and don't be fooled. This guy is smart. This guy is kicking everyone's ass. And I think that that's where we start, because over the next 2 years, if we have any hope in fighting and fending him off the LGBTQ community in Florida and then nationally, we have to recognize we're watching a modern day, I think, political genius. And we have to approach things differently than what our normal advocacy has been from HRCs to Equality Florida's. Our standard defenses of civil rights are not going to work with this guy. And that's how we start.
And he is Trump, a smart Trump.
Yeah.
He's as scary as Trump, but scarier because he knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
And he can speak and put out that horror. Trump was great at making a big to-do, but there weren't, he really wasn't smart enough to be able to do a lot of the things he did, and there were protections.
Ron DeSantis is.
Ron DeSantis is smart enough to have the right people in place from day one to create a horror for the rest of us.
One of the things that he said that was freaky, he was like, we will leave Florida to God better than we got it. It's just like little, I know, Max.
He is dangerously calculated, and the fact of the matter is that he gets shit done. Not shit that we want him to get done, but he gets the shit that he wants to get done.
That's where we start in being able to understand the enemy that we face. We have to understand him first. One last thought that I think is important. The conversation is he going to run for president? I think there's almost no chance that he's not going to run for president, but he will have to, under current Florida law, he will have to no longer be governor to run for president. So if he can't declare for president of the United States tomorrow, because it would mean he would cease being governor of Florida. But as we also understand, the Florida legislature can change laws, and he's got a supermajority. So he can tell his supermajority House and Senate, this is what I want, and they can change laws. But until they do that, he can't run for president of the United States and be governor of Florida at the same time. Now we'll watch very closely what he does next. But it's probably going to be running for president of the United States. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.